For us, the biggest aha moment was realizing that with the second business, our current business, the majority of our clientele was B2B clients, CPAs, bookkeepers, accountants, financial and tax advisors representing business clients. So we quickly pivoted to B2B.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be a good one. Our guest is the founder and CEO of CorpNet, which caters to small business owners and accountants who need assistance with the official paperwork needed to start and run a compliant business. Nellie Akalp, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. So first, let's start off with, how did you end up doing what you're doing today?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question. So I've been in the legal document filing space ever since actually my husband and I graduated law school back in 1997. He was failing his corporations class, and his teacher was like, listen, you have two choices, either Enron or starting an online incorporation business. And at the time I was working in a family law firm. So, he came to me with $100 loan, wanting a loan from me for $100. He bought a domain name. Back then it was literally through paperwork. And we started our first online incorporation business out of our two-bedroom apartment, grew that to where it was doing a substantial amount of revenue. We were blessed with the opportunity of being acquired by Intuit. And in 2005, Intuit acquired us. It kind of changed the landscape for us entrepreneurially. So we decided to take a little bit of a break under the non-compete. And 2009, we realized we were too bored, frankly, too passionate and too young to take on an early retirement. So we came up with CorpNet, which is our current company. Similar idea to our first company, but a little bit more techy and a little bit more tech related, where we're trying to really automate and optimize the business filings process for the end users, either them being a B2B client or the end user themselves. And with CorpNet, really it's offering the most comprehensive, cost-effective, seamless services when it comes to business filings and compliance and payroll and sales tax registration services in all 50 states.
Wow, that's quite something. And starting a business with your spouse, I'm sure that was an interesting journey.
Oh, yes. And it continues to be as well. Lots of couples therapy, I tell you. Lots and
Yes.
lots of couples therapy.
That's right. Business is tough, any day. And then you add, I'm sure it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
It is a blessing. I mean, listen, if you know your places in the company and you're linear and one is not, on top of the other, I think it works. You just kind of put the egos aside and really just look at it from a standpoint of what's best for the business. And for us, it just works because we come from two different backgrounds. He's more of the techie nerd, and I'm more of the sales, the marketing, and the operation. So when you put the two of us together, there's really a lot of magic that happens. And I'm grateful and blessed to be working with my husband for so many years.
It's great. Yeah, I think it works really well when it works. And there's that often partnerships can have issues, right? And so
Yes.
I'm not going to say that all family businesses run well, but when you think
Yeah.
about it, you're already working on the relationship outside of work. And then, you obviously have figured out how to be together and operate
Yeah.
together. So it's like
Yeah.
two heads are better than one. In
Yes.
many cases, that is true. And a lot of the successful partnerships are family. We have a person who's been on the show many times, Teresa, and her sister Connie. It's an amazing story because they were sisters and they worked on the business together. They supported each other. They both have different strengths, and it really worked well together. Sounds like that's what it is for your husband. Were there things that you had to figure out early days, like, okay, this isn't working, we need to switch this up? Were there things like that as throughout the years?
I think in any business, there is a lot of that when it comes to running a business. The great thing about us is that we normally pivot really quickly. And one of the beauties of, having a family business and really having the two of us kind of lead it really, really helps because you can pivot really quickly when it comes to issues within the business. And for us, it's always been one of those things where, our motto has always been try new things, fail quickly. If it's not working, and let's pivot. And that's, kind of been the secret sauce for our success because we're able to act quickly, move quickly, and fail quickly if we need to, so that, if there's a plan B, we can move to plan B really quickly.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the interview right after this word from our sponsor. You know that feeling when bookkeeping just flows? When client data is accurate, transactions match up like they should, and you're not spending hours fixing errors or chasing missing information? That's what Dext is all about. It has evolved into an all-in-one platform that makes your life easier. It handles transaction capture, keeps your data accurate, and even simplifies e-commerce reconciliation all in one place. No more jumping between tools or fixing mistakes manually. With smarter automation and better insights, Dext helps you get everything right from the start, so you can spend less time on admin and more time giving your clients the advice they need. Join thousands of bookkeepers and accountants who've already made the switch. If you're ready to save time, reduce errors, and make bookkeeping more efficient, Dext is for you. Go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com/Dext to book a demo today and see how it can transform the way you work. That's thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com/Dext. Thank you for hearing from our sponsor. Now let's get back to the interview. Your business, I always love hearing some of those early day stories, challenges, things you had to overcome. You're obviously on your second business now, related but different. And what were some of those early ones? What were some of the roadblocks or obstacles that you faced growing that business? The first one.
So with the first business, I would say really there was no obstacles. It was more about I would say the main obstacle was we were both really young. We were out of law school. We were trying to establish credit. And I would say the biggest obstacle for us was trying to establish a merchant credit card account because people didn't know us. So people were throwing credit cards at us, and we would have to process it manually or get a friend to process the credit card and give it the money back to us because we didn't have any type of established credit. And I would say the other one was just kind of just learning the ropes and making a lot of mistakes along the way, and taking a look at the landscape and seeing, okay, oh, well, we're doing it this way. There's a much more seamless way or automated way to do this. And then getting our hands, on talent to basically automate things so that not everything is so labor intensive. Fast forward to our current company, the landscape completely changed because when we started CorpNet, the market was fully commoditized, for our industry. So we were starting a business. In fact, we started CorpNet at the height of the recession back in 2008-9. So it was really hard to come into, landscape where our industry was fully commoditized and we're at the height of the recession. So our biggest obstacle was gaining market share, really gaining entry into the market. And I would say the first probably 5-6 years was very difficult. We literally had to, pay to work at CorpNet. But, when you have passion about your idea and really about the services you offer, that passion drives you. And for us, it was just, no, we gotta find different ways of, making this work. And for us, the biggest aha moment was realizing that with the second business, our current business, the majority of our clientele was B2B clients, CPAs, bookkeepers, accountants, financial and tax advisors representing business clients. So we quickly pivoted to, wait a minute, with the first company, it was mainly the end user, whereas with CorpNet, it's mainly B2B. And the light bulb went off, and we're like, aha, we need to create a program here that's designed for the B2B client, our CorpNet partner program, whereby they can literally provide all of our services to their clients through CorpNet. And it could be through a referral program, through a reseller program, or even if we're dealing with a large volume of business, through API. So it's been a
So like
really
a PI, like a white label type of situation. Is that the idea?
Correct. It would be a white label. And then we also have it where they can plug into our back end via our API software and just offer it as their own service where the information in real time gets to us. So we do a lot of that with a lot of the larger payroll service companies. So it's been a wonderful ride. I'm really grateful. And our partner program right now has been, and continues to be a great hit among anyone who's representing clients and is interested in scaling their business, adding additional suite of services, and becoming a one-stop shop to their clients, because they can literally partner with us and offer our services to their clients without the client ever even knowing that the advisor is working with CorpNet.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about this. Like it sounds, there's a lot of services that you offer that you're helping. Our listeners, bookkeeper, business owner, they work with a lot of businesses. Many of them are CPAs. Our listeners are CPAs, accountants. This sounds like something that would be of use to them. How let's maybe go through a couple of case studies. What would our listener be using this for, and what are some of the benefits of it?
Great question. So let's talk about the bookkeeper. Bookkeepers are literally always, having clients come in, dealing with their bookkeeping, but the bookkeeper also will make suggestions to the client as to, hey, I'm seeing, your current business structure may not be working for you. You can save a lot more taxes by being a corporation or an S Corp or an LLC. Or, for example, client and bookkeeper are dealing together, clients planning on hiring employees, and the bookkeeper is like, well, wait a minute, have you set up your payroll tax accounts? Or client, for example, is offering services where they're having to charge a sales tax. Have you set up your sales tax accounts? Or the client may already be a corporation or LLC, and they may need to be expanding into other states because they're now having nexus in other states. All of these scenarios are opportunities and services where the bookkeeper can offer these services to the client instead of having the client go somewhere else. Because chances are, if that bookkeeper loses that client, the client's going to go somewhere else where not only they can find bookkeeping services, but also all of the other services where that bookkeeper is not currently offering. So for a bookkeeper, for example, offering corporate services, compliance services, payroll and sales tax registration services to their clients, they're actually not only enhancing their trusted advisory services, but they're also scaling their revenues, increasing their revenues. More importantly, they are keeping that client with them long term because they're becoming a one-stop shop. And they can partner with a service like ours where there is no upfront fees, there is no setup fees, there's no ongoing fees. It's a pay-as-you-go service where they join the program. And our program is designed to really suit the partner's needs. It could be a mixture of a white label and and a referral. Let's say the bookkeeper doesn't even want to be the middleman. They can set themselves up as an affiliate partner where they refer the client to us. We take care of the client, provide them with white glove VIP services. We won't poach the client. We won't offer any services that will be in competition with that bookkeeper's services. And then we'll bring the client back to the bookkeeper so that the bookkeeper is always in touch with that client and knows what's going on. Alternatively, let's say the bookkeeper does not want the client to know who is fulfilling these services. The bookkeeper can set up themselves as a white label reseller, whereby as a white label reseller, they'll get the services from us as a discounted wholesale price, and they can charge whatever they want to their client. The client will never know that CorpNet is fulfilling the back end. And we basically white label everything, send it to the bookkeeper or the financial advisor, and the bookkeeper will put their logo and branding, send it to the client. And with this particular example, there's a little bit more profit to be made because we don't put a ceiling as to what is the maximum the bookkeeper can charge. They can charge whatever they want. So their cost with us always remains the same because we don't vary our prices. So they get set wholesale prices from us, and then they can charge an upcharge when they're sending it to their clients. So the profit margin is a little bit higher in that case. But let's say the bookkeeper doesn't want to be the middleman. They can strictly refer that client to us, and we charge them retail prices, and then we give that bookkeeper a commission of 20%. Now, let's say that bookkeeper says, I don't want to take the 20% commission. Pass it on to my client as a discount. There's that option too. So our CorpNet Partner Program is designed to be flexible to meet the needs of our partners, which are the end users. And it really is very flexible. We can even do a hybrid of a mixture of a white label resale program coupled with a referral program. So it's really a pay-as-you-go designed to meet the end user's needs.
Very cool. Sounds like a great service. I mean, in this day and age, what people are looking for is something simple, something that's quick, something that does the job. And I love how you have multiple options. I've always thought of that. People sometimes don't want to make money off of referring services.
Yeah.
They just want to refer something that's great. And so pass that service on, and then others build it into their business as a part of how they earn a revenue. And either way, right? It's got both ways of doing things, which I always appreciate when companies have thought through these things. And you've been at this a while. I'm sure you've had all sorts of requests.
And the beauty of it with us is that we're constantly evolving and coming up with new and more seamless ways to automate the business filings, payroll, and sales tax registration and compliance process. For example, let's take the BOI filing. That was the federal mandate as of January 1st, 2024. We simplified it for end users and we offered it as a service. Right now, we are basically trying to automate the payroll and sales tax registration process because on the heels of when the pandemic happened, a lot of companies went belly up, a lot of companies went remote. And a lot of companies that stayed remote now had this whole entire new pool of talent available to them in all different states. So our payroll and sales tax registration services in all 50 states skyrocketed. And now, we're one of the nation's leaders when it comes to registering payroll, tax accounts, sales tax accounts for our clients in all 50 states, along with foreign qualifying that business in any of the states that they have nexus within. So we have a really, really, really wide network of services that we can offer to our clients, albeit it being the bookkeeper, the accountant, the CPA. And so far, whoever has partnered with us has been very happy with the services and oftentimes go from, you know, being here as far as their revenues and their revenues skyrocketing, at some points 10xing their revenues.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I'd love to know what's next for you in terms of your business and CorpNet. What things do you focus on or will be focusing on in the future?
Well, with the whole new concept of AI, there's a lot that we're trying to do from that part. We're also at the moment perfecting our partner program portal where, we're coming up with a lot of great educational tools and resources. We're coming with out with our CorpNet Academy, which is really an academy for partners that want to really learn about all of these processes and concepts and be able to further guide their clients because bookkeepers sometimes don't really know about the differences between the S corp and the LLC and a corporation and an LLC. So we're trying to offer a lot of educational guidance and also beef up our AI technology so that, our clients can benefit more from it.
Wonderful. Well, this is great. If people wanted to learn more about the partner program, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Well, thank you so much, Michael. So, if anyone is interested in the CorpNet Partner Program, simply just go on to www.corpnet.com/partners, plural. That's CORPNET.com/partners, PARTNERS, or simply pick up the phone, dial 1-888-449-2638. Or you can simply send us an email to info@corpnet.com. You can also take a look at the website when you're there. We have a plethora of business tools and widgets and fun, different tools that you can not only use to start a business, manage a business, keep a business in compliance. However, for those of you who may be interested and have existing clients and want to monitor their businesses, check out our CorpNet compliance portal, free to join. And you can load up as many of your clients' business entities and it will manage it and send you proactive alerts to ensure your clients are in compliance with due dates, upcoming due dates for their corporations, their LLCs, their businesses. So it's been a real amazing pleasure and thank you for the opportunity for me to get on here with you, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really cool. You've got lots of great resources on your website that I've seen. I think you're doing a great job there. The monitoring service sounds really interesting. You mentioned that was something that was free for
Yeah.
for
Yes.
for companies to do, so they can load up their clients. And again, it's a monitoring service, which is great.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Wonderful.
we don't use any type of bait and switch tactics, It's free of charge. Come and load your companies up there and then we'll send you monitoring alerts. And then generally speaking, the end user will want us to do the service for them. And at that time, if they did, we charge a minimal service fee to complete the filing for them. But all of these tools that we have, they're really resources for the end user to be able to utilize and to be able to guide their clients proactively and properly.
That's great. It's fantastic. So much there, and this has been wonderful. It's one of those services I think would be very useful to our listeners. So it's always great to have someone on to share a tool that can help bring some efficiencies and value adds for our listener.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.